So I'd just like to ask you, Sarah, how you see this film, or how would you like us to see it? Is it about the disease primarily? Is it about caring for people, or is it about a love story? How do you see it?
I'm not sure. I hope that it speaks to everybody differently, and that it has different resonances for people. I think for me, primarily, when I read it, it was a love story. When I read the short story that it's based on, and it moved me so profoundly as a love story. But then I also had, I think as most of us do, somewhere in our family, experiences with Alzheimer's disease. So for me, that was also a really important part of it.
It must have been very daunting for such a young person to make a film about older people primarily. What inspired you actually to make this film? Did you have an autobiographical background, or how did you get involved in this particular project?
Well, I actually first read the short story, and I was on a plane coming home from Iceland, and I had just worked in a film, Hal Hartley's film, No Such Thing, with Julie Christie. And so I read this story, and I couldn't stop seeing Julie's face. And these sort of references to Iceland, which had such a kind of magic sort of association for me. And then I think just I couldn't figure out why it haunted me so much, and I kept going back to it and reading it over and over again. And I think for me, making the film was kind of an exploration of what it was that I obviously needed to learn from this story. And so it was just for me a way of walking around inside a piece of fiction that I really loved for a few years.
Well, you said as an actress you've also worked with Julie Christie, but it's quite amazing for your first feature that you have two Oscar winners, Olympia Dukakis and Julie Christie, and these other actors who are very, very well known and wonderful. Was it difficult to get them to work in this film?
It was actually, and in the case of Julie, it was extremely difficult. She's a really good friend, and I think she really liked the script, and she wanted for us to work together. But she's just not somebody who wants to act every day of her life. She's very happy to not be acting. So it took about 8 months of pretty constant phone calls and emails and trips to London, and I basically became her most dedicated stalker. So in the end, I think I just wore her down, and she felt really sorry for all of us. In the end, we all made fools of ourselves in various ways, and she ended up in the film. So.
In any case, I hope you'll be back with your second feature coming back to Berlin, and I hope it'll happen soon. Is there anything coming up right away?
Not right away, no. I'm trying to write right now. So.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being here.